This week was all about finishing the work, meeting deadlines, and making sure a bunch of moving parts are going at once. We spent most of this week working on a pharma project for the agency's client to get it out this week, which meant late nights, tight feedback loops, and attention to detail. United Post House is a boutique post-production company, so when clients come to us, they expect excellence, accuracy, and fine detail. I'm Danny Matthews, owner of United Post House, and I want to show you what a high-pressure but still productive week actually looks like. But the biggest thing that we're really going for with our clients is trust. And trust is really what sets us apart from other companies. And so the reality is the margin for error is pretty slim. And so with these higher premium projects, we also have to pay attention to these details because trust is really what's actually writing our company forward. So this past week, we just got the video out for our client for the pharmaceutical project that I was talking about, which was kind of a really big milestone to get it out to your client for the first time, going through the creative review, going through agency to make sure the video is where it needs to be. After the editor sits down with the director for multiple hours, we finally got it out to where it needed to be for the pharmaceutical project. And so this week we were actually in client review. And so next week I'll be able to have an update as to what that's looking like. For NDA reasons, I can't express exactly what this is all looking like, but I just wanted to kind of give you a background into what's actually happening behind the scenes. At the same time, I'm working with a company called Talents that I'm also a content implementer and strategist for, where we are actually building YouTube from scratch by putting out podcasts, putting out socials, going out and just actually laying a foundation for the company. And I'm working with my good friend Cody, where he's actually the owner of the company and he's launched this vision that he has. It's super awesome. You guys definitely need to check it out. The goal with this is to just get momentum, is to just start and get things moving forward. It's not really launch, it's just go. It's just get things going, and we actually refine the tools, refine the systems as we go. So I want to keep you posted with that as things go on and we start building that and what it actually pans out to be. We have a really good strategy and we have a really good plan in place. So I'm super excited to see what all this actually amounts to. The biggest thing in the hardship is because I'm a builder and somebody who wants to create and build systems and create something that moves forward constantly, is I'm learning that we just need to create what we need to create and start implementing and building around that to create better systems as we go, because if we don't, we're perfectionists. It's not going to happen. And so that's kind of the biggest challenge. It's something that I'm personally learning and trying to figure out as I'm going through this and doing all the branding and all the hook stuff for, creating YouTube content. And there's a lot of cool formulas and strategies that I actually want to bring to you guys that I'll kind of explain, but it's just stuff that right now we're going through the process of, okay, what is the best way to actually go about this? And so we're just starting, going, and refining as we go. And one of the things I want to bring up, because I'm sure you're in the same boat, is that one thing that many people don't see is the mental shift between jumping between so many different projects. And so I have United and I have Talents, and there's other things that you're going on, and it is a big ask to do, but I think the biggest thing that's helpful is keeping that building mindset. When you're building a company and then helping another company build, you can also start to have parallel information where you can use stuff that you built here over here, where you can build over here in your company. You can also transition over here to your other company. And so I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes of what that looks like. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you're in that same boat of like, man, I just wish there were other people who are going through this that understand what this is actually looking like. Trust me, I understand. But honestly, this is why this week actually really matters and why it's so important. Things like with the United Post House, where we have tight timelines, tight things that we need to get out. We're having these late nights. And this isn't constantly, like grinding isn't constantly waking up all day working, all night working. It's having these short bursts of sprints. And then sometimes you have longer pauses in between where you're resting. And this week is so important because we're sprinting between both companies of United Post House, and if you're watching the start of Talents, you actually get to see in practice what this really looks like, and actually get to see what building a company really looks like from the ground up versus a company that's already established and running right now, and we're just constantly building and growing. So we get to see these two worlds kind of collide a little bit, and I just want to document this and share this so you guys can learn and grow as well. But honestly, the long-term growth and what we have in mind is how can these companies live 100+ years? I'm not thinking short term, how can I make a buck? I'm thinking, how can these change worlds and people's mindsets for years to come? And the generations after us to come, what are they going to be learning from the content that we're putting out today? And that means building systems where they can actually run off of for years to come, where they can also be able to have growth and change into. And as time goes on, I want to share a lot of these systems that I'm actually building And that way you guys could be inspired or even take them for yourselves to build and implement into your companies or whatever you're trying to build. If this approach works, United Post House is going to be building trust with consistency, and Talents is actually going to be building its voice for years to come. And we're going to see just kind of the ground foundation of how we're going to build these and implement these. And the biggest thing that I'm just trying to push for is consistency. And I know a lot of times it's very difficult and it seems like a stupid, simple formula, but a lot of times it's just being consistent with things that already work and continuing to do it over and over again. And sometimes that looks repeatable, sometimes that looks boring, but it's a necessary factor to actually build something. And so that's really what I'm going after with United specifically, and also assisting with Talents in that. And this week was doing just that, creating consistency, creating trust, and just going after what we need to get done and staying consistent with the work that we actually need to do.